And we're live! Hi, and welcome to the latest edition of Botha Rants, the show, the YouTube stream where we go through all the latest LGBTQ and political news of interest, or at least interest to me, Sophia Botha, your main host. And today, it's the Ozma Monday edition because we are joined by my friend Ozma, who's just had a nice big bowl of broccoli and cheese soup. And did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I really like broccoli cheddar soup from Panera. Please sponsor this stream. No.
I was gonna say I was actually on Ozma's fluid voice stream last night, talking about Aria de Meslo, our friend, certainly a friend of mine, who's recently been arrested by the FBI unjustly for selling Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I've had to be lobbying various people in the LGBTQ press today to try and get that story a bit more coverage. Alas, they basically the sort of thought is we're not interested in the story unless it goes to trial. In other words, unless Aria is in immediate danger of being sent to a male federal penitentiary, we're not interested. Great, can't.
Yeah, it's really helpful to help after the fact.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah.
I was gonna say I can't see your screen if you.
I always fucking forget to do this, don't I?
Yeah. It's fine. I didn't think to mention it.
Well, yeah. I always seem to do this. All right. Okay. So on with the show. Right. Okay. What the fuck? Sorry. Yeah. Got. Oh, great. I've lost my fucking. Hold on a second. Hold on, Sophia's all fucked up. As I said, my sleep. I was on her stream late last night. Blame Ozma because I was on her stream late last night, and I'm absolutely fucking knackered.
Well, I did this to try to get more attention from the during the stream. And...
Right. Okay. Right. All right. Now, right, we're here. So yeah, today the lockdown in Britain eases. Well, I think it's England. I think Wales and Scotland are moving at different paces to England. But in England, the lockdown eases so that non-essential retail can reopen after 3 months, which means that hairdressers and pubs can reopen. And if it hadn't been snowing this morning, I would have gone and got my nails done. Girl always needs to get her nails done.
Oh, nice.
However, yes, pubs have reopened, which means Wetherspoons can reopen. And so that means there's a stampede of Gammon down to the local Wetherspoons for their cheap, pint of piss, and they can properly mourn the death of Prince Philip. Yeah, that's right. Prince Philip is still dead. Just in case you didn't know.
Wait, really? Prince Philip died?
Yeah.
I'm just hearing about this. Oh wait, I heard more news from the UK. I just reached America. Prince Philip has died.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we're supposedly in 8 days of mourning for Prince Philip. So Gammon can mourn Prince Philip properly by going down the local Wetherspoons and crying into their cheap pint of piss. Yeah.
8 days of mourning for one person? Yeah. What the fuck?
I should explain to Americans what Wetherspoons is. It's a chain of pubs in this country, which basically it's very cheap beer and cheap beer generally attracts cheap people, and it's the favourite haunt of racist Gammon. And well, the CEO of Wetherspoons, a certain Tim Martin. He basically, shall we say, he's someone he fulfills the stereotype of a Gammon, and there basically is now a message to boycott Wetherspoons because Tim Martin, as well as being a Brexit dick, and used his pubs to campaign for Brexit. I mean, they used to have Brexit beer mats and stuff and leaflets, in his pubs. Now, okay, he's free to do that, but, I still think he's a dick for doing it because I think Brexit is a really stupid thing. But, and also he walked out of an interview with fucking Owen Jones. Now, Owen Jones, is no hard, Owen Jones is he's a lovely guy, but he's no hard-hitting journalist. As in, he's not going to go for the jugular, right? And Tim Martin couldn't put up with an interview with him and walked out, which is hilarious. So last March, when the first lockdown came in, we had the first lockdown. Tim Martin had been campaigning against it. Now, some people say, well, that would be his business interests. Well, I mean, he didn't seem to give a shit about, Gammon going into the fucking pubs and coughing over his staff. And coughing fucking COVID over the staff. And to add up insult to injury, Martin then posted a video of him standing in his kitchen, half drunk, essentially sacking his entire staff. Anybody remember? Yeah. Remember this?
Hi everyone. I'm very sorry about the situation that's occurred with our pubs. They've been shut, as you know, unprecedented in the last 40 years, and it puts everyone in a terribly difficult position. And I know you're all sitting there wondering what the hell's happening. And over the weekend, I've had lots of phone calls with different people, and we're trying to sort it all out as best we can in this highly unusual situation. The good news is that the government has undertaken to underwrite people's wages for an indefinite amount of time. So that's great because we've got no money coming in through the tills, which is not something that we'd ever planned for, as you can appreciate. The government's promised to pay about 80%.
Hold on. Right, that's the one thing I got to issue. Rich people are always saying, why don't poor people save up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't businesses put something back for a fucking rainy day? And this guy's one of the richest men in the fucking country, right?
Oh God.
Yeah. What a dick,
of wages. They'll probably be pretty slow about paying it, so there may be some delays, for which I also apologise, but I feel sure they're going to come through on their promise.
Something I
our
never
main
did.
aim, and my main aim, is to reopen. We employ over 40,000 people, so it's very important for them. Just as important perhaps for the country is Wetherspoon. You, thanks to you, pays 1/1000th of all taxes. So it's very important to the country that we reopen. It might be weeks, it might be months.
Yeah, so essentially, just like every fucking Wetherspoons are kind of like, you go to every fucking you go onto every high street and there's a fucking McDonald's, which basically destroys
Starbucks.
Yeah, destroys competition, right? Okay, it's the same with fucking Wetherspoons. Every fucking pub seems to be now fucking Wetherspoons. This is. I thought free market capitalism was meant to give us choice. Yeah, well, not fucking so.
Months.
Yeah.
Tremendous pressure on us all because of the uncertainty. Apart from all the practical considerations. So all our endeavours are going to be on trying to make sure that you get your money and that the pubs reopen. And I know that almost all our trade now has gone to supermarkets, not only our trade, but the trade from cafes, leisure centres, restaurants, etc. So we've had lots of calls from supermarkets. Tesco alone want 20,000 people to join them. That's half the number of people who work in our pubs. If I'm being honest, I say you can get the furlough payments and stay at home. If you're offered a job at a supermarket, many of you will...
Yeah, so essentially it's fuck off and go and get a job at Tesco. That's basically what he's saying, okay?
Gotcha.
You have put up with Gammon abusing you and having to piss off the fucking toilet shit and piss off the toilets and puke off the fucking chairs, but hey, fuck you. Go get a job at Tesco's. I mean, that was basically it. I fucking hate pubs, if I'm to be honest, right? And there are, the thing is that people in this country have this romantic notion of the quaint country pub that sells interesting craft beers, to interesting characters, in the local community. No, that's not the fucking pub I know. The pub I know is fucking Wetherspoons rammed on a Friday fucking night full of Gammon, who if you even give a glance to will fucking glass you, right? And you'd be lucky, and if you don't get glass, you'd be lucky to get fucking served in fucking an hour and a fucking half. Believe me, I've had that fucking experience. And and when fucking the pub isn't like packed full of racist, bigoted drunken fuckwits, right? It's full of basically people pissing their fucking lives away. There was always that guy in the fucking corner, who'll go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. I'm not an alcoholic. I know somebody who drinks far more than me. Well, why the fuck do I care? It's your fucking liver, not mine.
Yeah.
I'm not your fucking therapist. If you want to deal with if you're an alcoholic and you've got an issue, go and get some fucking therapy, okay? But if it's not for them, then it's the barstool bigots, who'll say, I thought fatty immigrants always take our fatty jobs away, Yeah, the immigrants who have got two jobs and paying the tax which pays for your fucking green fucking beer tokens, for you to piss your fucking lives away all fucking day. Yeah, and then if it's not them, it's always the armchair politician. Yeah, if I was fighting in charge, I'd have all the Muslims and the immigrants out against the wall and shoot them. Yeah, that guy should be a fucking question time. And what is it with pubs? The decor's always brown and drab. It's always brown and drab, brown color. Yeah, the color of shit. And when the cushion and
also you don't notice the vomit and shit already all over the place.
The soft furnishings, or the cushion covers are always like dark green and dark fucking blue. Why is that like the optimum fucking color to cover up the piss and puke stains?
Yeah.
I just fucking hate pubs, and I hate Wetherspoons in particular because every time I walk down my local high street and the fucking Gammon are sitting outside fucking Wetherspoons having a fucking cigarette. Guess who gets abused for being trans? Me. Yeah. I fucking hate. Yeah. But
also, I assume glassing is what was done in Train Spotting by the angry guy.
Yeah, Big B. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't know what glassing was if not for that movie.
Yeah. Hold on a moment, I fucked up the...
Oh yeah, if you are from a different country and don't know, it involves shoving a glass into someone's face.
Yeah. So, just in case you didn't know, okay, Prince Philip is still dead. Yeah.
Oh, is he related to the Prince Philip who's dead?
Yeah. Right. So on Friday, as soon as the word came out that Prince Philip had died, the BBC, it was just one fucking sycophantic fucking tribute after another, and funny, the BBC's viewing figures plummeted.
Yeah, because people already know that Prince Philip is dead, and you don't need to go on with like a church service for the death of a rich bastard who didn't do anything helpful or did very little helpful.
And I mean the fucking sycophantic fucking coverage. Actually, Sky News did slip up a bit because basically the guy at the studio sort of said to the royal reporter, "So, how did Philip and Lizzie meet?" And they went, "Oh, well, they were cousins."
Well, did the reporter fuck up there?
I always wonder if the royals have all their toes, I mean, consequence of inbreeding and all that,
Well, admittedly, it oftentimes involves generations of inbreeding. More and more causes that stuff. But yeah.
Right. Just hang on a sec, because Sophia has fucked up the running order. I need to sort this out.
Okay. So.
Just gonna.
World of Warcraft.
No.
So.
Talk about what's happening in Minneapolis.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, there's been another police murder in Minneapolis during the trial of Derek Chauvin, which is still going on. Which is just like, yeah, they don't learn. They see... they see a black person and they're like, I want less of those, and go and murder them.
Anyways, the Minneapolis police just can't help themselves shooting black people, and they just they don't want to be called racist. Yeah. So, anyways, there were complaints to the BBC about their wall-to-wall, ass-kissing of Prince Philip, and they did set up a special page, but then they pulled it. Yeah, I mean, okay, look, I know some people say I live in a lefty echo chamber, and yeah, to some degree I do, but...
Well, yeah, but to some degree it's also difficult not to end up in some amount of echo chamber or
Well, I don't
whatnot.
want.
I don't listen to flat earthers.
Yeah.
I live in a science believing echo chamber, but like that isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Well, yeah, but generally, I just think that most people I know just don't give a shit. Okay. Yeah, they're sad for Queen Lizzie, because well, she did.
Well, maybe sad.
That
her life might be better.
She lost she lost her husband. But
yeah, but it was her husband was Prince Philip, so
right, yeah.
Is that a bad thing for her?
Well, I guess a man in women are attracted to men in uniform, so it's like, what did you see in her? Such a racist tosser. I mean, look, the thing is, we know the role marriages are all fucking it. Well, they have been in the past and arranged, not so much.
Well, the royal family still kind of acts like it's the Middle Ages.
And of course, Nigel. Anyways, we'll get onto some other stuff in a minute, but about the funeral. So. The BBC won't say how many complaints there were. But, I think you could tell that it wasn't a popular move to have wall-to-wall fucking coverage, sucking the cock of a fucking dead, pompous fucking racist twat, So, anyways, of course, Channel 4 did not change their programming. Now, I tell people outside the UK, The Sun is a Murdoch-owned tabloid which sucks Tory cock, okay? So, obviously, you're going to get that fucking headline from them. That Channel 4 were insensitive. No! Channel 4 were offering an alternative, right? Because, look, I have access to fucking Netflix and Amazon Prime and YouTube, but... a lot of there's still a lot of people in this country who just have the the Freeview channels on their television. That's it, and Channel 4 were offering a fucking alternative. So and this is the whole fucking authoritarian bullshit with the fucking right wing. The right wing always say they champion the freedom of the individual. But how about the individual having the freedom to say, no, I'm not fucking interested in fucking, some dead racist. Yeah.
Well, freedom of the individual to tell you what to do if you're left of a Nazi, and but not the freedom to say no.
Yeah, and just basically that we should all be sitting around, kissing the arse of the establishment. No, fuck off. The establishment has kept, many people down in this country from fulfilling their full fucking potential.
But they put all the money in so that it could be like the best ass ever to kiss. So,
and here's the thing, right? The tabloids like The Sun will have a go at people who are, on welfare, right? Yet, want us to sort of, kiss the arse of Prince Philip, who was one of the biggest, welfare recipients in the fucking country.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy, anybody? Yeah. And of course, I don't see it like that. Well, maybe they fucking well should. Yeah. Anyways.
I don't understand this innovative concept called empathy and caring for others. That's weird.
Anyways, so the BBC are interested in what Prince Andrew had to say about his daddy. Others are more interested to know about what he has to really say about, as in the doc, about or the witness box as what he has. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Right. So yes, people, the BBC are interested in what Prince Andrew has to say about, his daddy. I think the BBC should be more interested in what Andrew might say if he was ever put on fucking trial for his sexual misconducts with, a certain Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, the BBC helping to people to forget that Prince Andrew is a nonce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, there you go. This is how it works. This is why I am so against the fucking sycophantic fucking bootlicking we have seen towards the fucking royal family in the last fucking few days. Right. Prince Andrew is a great example as to why you shouldn't do it. Why you should question things. Yeah. I've actually been told that Prince Andrew can't attend Prince Philip's funeral, not to do with COVID restrictions, but he's got a prior engagement at a Pizza Express in Woking. For those who don't get that joke, go and see the interview he did with Emily Maitlis and one of his excuses as to why he didn't sexually assault a girl. Yeah, he was at a Pizza Express in Woking. Yeah. Yeah, as if Andrew visits Pizza Express. Methinks not. Methinks you're full of shit, Andrew. Methinks you are probably guilty of being a nonce, a paedophile. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it, and the establishment are protecting their own. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Of course they do. That's why they shut down any way to make significant amounts of money that don't involve how rich people continue to make money.
And of course,
basically shutting down any ability for someone to rise from rags to riches. They don't want that. They really don't.
And so we're in 8 days of mourning, which ends with Prince Philip's funeral on Saturday. Yeah, because so many people I've seen around me are so fucking weepy. Not. The funeral, of course, if you don't watch it, you're not patriot. Well, you can call me unpatriotic as much as you fucking want, because I'm not going to fucking watch it. I'll be watching the World Snooker Championships. Anyways, Prince Philip's funeral, of course, yet again, at the taxpayer's expense, of course, and it'll be all very lavish. Now, it's not going to be the big state occasion you've had with other royals dying. Mainly because of COVID restrictions, only 30 people can, attend. I think that's what I heard. But of course, it'll be live on the BBC and, probably every other channel. And it'll probably be repeated in a nauseum, just as, the tributes have been, to Prince Philip have been have been broadcast at a nauseum. I mean, yesterday I tuned into the Andrew Marr show, which is kind of the equivalent to Meet the Press in the States, and it's like, all I fucking heard was, suck Prince Philip's dick here, and suck Prince Philip's dick there. And it's like...
Yeah, it's like he's dead.
Aren't there any other stories?
It's not consensual, that's necrophilia.
You know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but I wanted to make a joke anyways.
John Sentinel was on, and he's I forgot which I think he's the Archbishop of York, and he's a black guy. He's originally from Africa, and he was glowing. He was all very glowing about Prince Philip, and I just thought, oh come on, John, you're saying to me that Prince Philip never told you to fuck off back to Bongo Land. Because that's the kind of shit, Prince Philip would have come out with, right? We know it.
Well, yeah, we went over all of that on Friday, all of the quote-unquote gaffes of Prince Philip.
Yeah. Well, basically, Marr sort of said, yes, Prince Philip could be forthright with his views. He was a racist bigot. Okay?
Yeah, racist, ableist, misogynistic...
Yeah.
Fuckwad.
Yeah. Anyways, so there are other stories going on, believe it or not. Yeah, I know. That's right. I know. People in Britain will be in shock because all they've fucking heard is Prince Philip this and Prince Philip that for the last few days. But yes, there are other stories. And the Canary, well, it sums it up quite well. Let's have a listen.
The news that's getting buried as mainstream media obsesses over Prince Philip's death.
There are the ongoing protests against the draconian police, crime, sentencing, and courts bill. Proposals within that bill for secure schools for young offenders. But with spectacles like this, it's a good time for the government and its friends in the media to ignore other matters.
This is absolutely true. However, can I just point out, the BBC hasn't exactly been on the ball about the protests, the Kill the Bill protests anyways. They've been ignoring them. You know, in fact, there was a Twitter account which parodied Laura Koonsberg with the Bjork song "Oh So Quiet," basically poking fun at the fact that she's not been covering like the big stories, and this was before Prince Philip died.
For example, as reported by the Canary, on the evening of Friday the 9th of April, the BBC went wall-to-wall in its coverage of the death of Philip Windsor, aka the Duke of Edinburgh. BBC One and BBC Two provided the same content for the entire evening, and all BBC Four programmes were cancelled. Subsequently, the state broadcaster was forced to publish a complaints page on its coverage, but it has since been removed. From deaths in their thousands. Loyalist riots in the north of Ireland challenge Boris Johnson's Brexit deal. Open Democracy has published an exclusive by James Cusick and Peter Geckigan on the scientist who advocated a herd immunity approach to the coronavirus, COVID-19, pandemic. It shows that Oxford epidemiologist Sunetra Gupta met with Boris Johnson.
So yeah, there are other fucking stories. The other thing is, if you went onto the BBC News site on Friday, it was Prince Philip this, Prince Philip that, Prince Philip whatever. It was just Prince Philip, Prince Philip, Prince Philip. Oh, and one story on COVID. You go back and watch Kevin Logan's stream from Friday. He highlighted that. This is just a great fucking. This is a nice distraction from the Tories from the fact that they're fucking us all. With their policies, and they're not being challenged at the moment. I mean, it's not like the BBC particularly challenges them about it anyways, because the BBC is the Tory propaganda mouthpiece. But anyways, and of course, Keir Starmer, well, he doesn't offer any fucking opposition whatsoever fucking ever. Yep, it's that time in the show where we shit on Starmer, because he's shit.
Yeah.
Now, interesting piece this. Okay, do you want to give it a read for me?
Sure. As youth icons go, Jeremy Corbyn, the earnest, now septuagenarian Labour backbencher, fond of homemade jam, allotments, and manhole covers, was always an unlikely one. But nevertheless, his tenure as Labour leader has young people engage with parliamentary politics in a way they hadn't done for decades, with thousands flooding into the Labour Party and millions enthused by its left-wing policies. Famously for a time, Corbyn's name even reverberated around Britain's music festivals. Since succeeding,
he appeared at Glastonbury in front of 80,000 people going, "Oh, Jeremy Corbyn," and I actually remember that wound Sargon of Wankard up no end. He did a video. Why is he getting on television? Because he's not a bigoted twat like you, Carl. That's why he's popular. Go on.
Since succeeding Corbyn as Labour leader, much of what Keir Starmer has done, waging bureaucratic warfare on left-run constituency parties, rowing back on previous policy commitments, and petulantly withholding the Labour whip from Corbyn himself, seems to have been predicated on the assumption that his predecessor is almost universally despised among the electorate. Sorry. A little bit of bread got in my throat. Certainly, this is a state of affairs which much of the Parliamentary Labour Party has worked very hard to bring about. However, a recent opinion poll suggests that many Labour supporters feel otherwise. It found that among people who voted Labour in 2019, not party members, 38% of them would prefer it if Corbyn were still party leader, as opposed to 45% who preferred Starmer. Considering the generally easy ride Starmer has been given by the media since assuming the office, and the probably unprecedented campaign of personal vilification to which Corbyn has been subjected, this isn't a particularly convincing margin. Scroll down a little.
Sorry.
The generational divide among those Labour voters was stark. Among 18 to 24-year-olds, 56% preferred Corbyn compared to 29% for Starmer, while 24 to 34-year-olds favored Corbyn by a margin of 46% to 37%. Starmer's most enthusiastic support came from older demographics. 65% of 55 to 64-year-olds preferred Starmer over his predecessor, as did 64% of over 65.
Yeah, and the reason for this is that Corbyn had policies which appealed to the young, appealed to the next generation. And I've always said that, because I always get people going, what did Corbyn achieve? Well, you haven't seen what he's achieved yet, because he's probably inspired a whole generation of young people. And that will bear fruit in a decade or two, time.
Assuming we're not all dead. But anyways, why did Corbyn draw so much support from younger age groups? Using the term advisedly here, given that people we're talking about are the under 40s, and why do younger Labour voters still regard him favorably? It's simple enough, because he was the first politician in their lifetimes to take their opinions seriously and view their concerns as legitimate.
And that's true, because you often get. I mean, I remember when Corbyn, I was already in my 40s when Corbyn threw his hat in the ring, right, for the Labour leadership in 2015. But I remember being patronised, though. I do remember people patronising me. Going, he says a lot of good things, but I'm not sure he'll make a good but he's never had executive experience. Blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. Well, neither did fucking Tony Blair. Okay?
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up. The reason you didn't like this guy is that he had, this was a guy who wanted real deals fucking socialism, which they knew was going to be popular, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't, and basically, it was going to come to the crunch that proved them not to be the socialist they claimed to be. And I know some people say I'm being a bit cold. I say, no, I'm not. What I'm saying is that policy-wise, renationalising the railways, getting rid of student loans, these are popular fucking policies, right?
Yeah.
But maybe not popular with the Tory establishment, and that is, and the thing is with numerous Labour leaders, they have always thought that they have to pander to the Tory establishment to win elections. No. Corbyn proved in 2017, yes, he lost that election, but he proved that you could have, some, I mean, I know he lost, but believe me, I remember the dire predictions people were having about, the amount of seats Labour were going to lose, and Labour actually gained seats, right? Proving, Corbyn, that there was something to Corbyn's, popularism.
Well, I mean, so here's the problem. everything about Jeremy Corbyn goes against the neoliberal type policies. So, because he wants to actually make changes, and oftentimes the neoliberal policies relate to essentially allowing individuals to do what they want and create policies to help enforce that, and that involves helping the rich and the privileged.
Well, neoliberal capitalism has not worked very well when it comes to the fucking pandemic, has it? I mean,
no.
Well,
not if you care about the lives of people.
The neoliberal doctrine is, first come, first served. And so basically you had a load of middle class, SUV, detached house owning wankers who had nice jobs, stripping the supermarket shelves bare of essentials which they didn't need to stock up on.
Yeah.
Basically leaving, the poorest and the most vulnerable in society with fuck all.
Yeah.
Do you want to read on?
Yep, his policy spoke to their material needs and offered them the prospect of a more hopeful future and a less inhumane political culture after years of scapegoating.
Yeah, Corbyn painted a picture of a better tomorrow. All Starmer is doing, saying, "Well, I can manage, I can manage the bullshit better." Well, that's not exactly inspiring, is it?
Yeah. So Starmer, by contrast, has barely addressed them in the year since he took over the Labour leadership. Instead, the focus has been on the red wall. And even then, I can't read. Only a certain subsection of the voters within it. The red wall, to be clear, is where the general area where the
red wall was load of Labour constituencies up north, right? And they'd been Labour for many generations. For several generations. Basically, the Tories nicked flipped those seats at the last election, and so basically Starmer seems to think that he needs to be socially conservative to appeal to those seats up north, because they don't have any truck with all the whole woke agenda. Well, that's actually bullshit. The reason why Labour lost those seats is because Labour got in a muddle about Brexit, which actually was Starmer's fucking fault, because he was the shadow Brexit secretary. Now, obviously, Corbyn has to take ultimate responsibility for that. He should have put his foot down with Starmer. The Labour policy, basically, all you heard out of the Tories at the last general election was get Brexit done, right? That was all you heard. Get Brexit done. That was their mantra, right? What you heard from Labour was, well, we'll renegotiate the Brexit deal, then have a referendum and tell people to vote against that Brexit deal. What?
Yeah.
And that was fucking Starmer's, that was at the insistency of fucking Keir Starmer. We should take some fucking responsibility. Basically, Corbyn, in hindsight, Corbyn should have put his foot down and said, right, we're going to go for a soft Brexit, okay? That should have been the Labour Party policy. In fact, if you look at 2017, Labour's policy at that point on Brexit was we would honour the referendum result. So, that's the difference. Yeah, at the 2017 general election, Labour said we would honour the Brexit, we would honour the referendum result, right? Okay. In 2019, we don't know where we're coming or fucking going. And that lost them the fucking election.
That's a policy of Starmer, not knowing where he's coming in or going.
Yeah, well, basically, what this article is saying is that, like the LGBTQ community, young people is another constituency which basically Starmer doesn't give a shit about.
Yep.
That's basically it. Okay, So go and read this article for yourselves if you want in the Tribune. How Keir Starmer alienated a generation left. Well, and the other thing is, what is going to happen with that generation? Are they going to go and join the Green Party? I would imagine most of them just are not going to bother to vote, which actually plays into the Tory establishment, because they kind of they don't want young people to go out and vote, right? Because they know they're going to vote against the Tory establishment, right? If they did, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of it just feels like a lose-lose unless you look at the grander picture of things.
Yeah, you see, the Tory establishment believe in the property-owning democracy. Now, people go, oh, isn't it good that people own their own property? Well, here's the deal, right? What I really mean by that is that if people own property, they've got something at risk, right, to lose, right? So they're going to be more conservative, right?
And by the way, this would be private property. So this relates in terms of explanation with relation to private property, not personal property. For instance, it's personal property.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that debate later on, because there's a certain ContraPoints video which we need to go through after Friday. We're talking about people owning their own homes, basically. I got no problem with people owning their own homes, right? But
I just want to be clear on that, just so people don't knee jerk and are just like property, as if all property is anything that you happen to own.
No. I'm talking.
Yeah.
All right. So, also, shall I put the reader on for this one?
No, I can read this.
Okay. So this is from
I might slaughter the names of cities potentially.
Well, anyway,
Hartlepool?
Hartlepool. So anyway,
Hartlepool. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So right. There's a by-election in Hartlepool on the 6th of May, because the previous Labour MP had to stand down due to allegations of corruption allegations, right? And if you ask me at the moment, I think Labour are going to lose that seat. And this is supposedly meant to be a safe Labour seat,
yeah. So Hartlepool could soon have a Tory MP for the first time in almost 60 years, and no one seems surprised. A poll commissioned by the CWU Union and published last week showed that the Tories could win a coming by-election on the 6th of May. If the result of the poll was repeated in the election, the Tories would win by 49% over Labour's 42%. It would be a huge boost to the Tories, because they need a fucking boost. Fucking Tories. They would tout a win as proof that Labour is losing its former strongholds because working class people want right-wing parties. And the Labour right would join in. They're getting their excuses in early, blaming it all on the legacy of former leader Jeremy Corbyn, and labeling the left's criticism of Keir Starmer as a sabotage. They are preparing the ground for a further shift to the right.
The other excuse is the one Starmer has given about how, because this is the same day, the 6th of May is also going to be the day of local elections, and Starmer's already getting his excuses. Well, the Tories have had a vaccine bout, the rollout of the vaccine. Well, it's good that there has been a rollout of the vaccine, but really, I don't believe that actually, because to be honest, as I say, today is the first day they've sort of started to lift fucking seriously lift restrictions. Regards to lockdown. I know there's been some other loosening of restrictions a couple of weeks ago, but this is the first day I think it really does affect people, and so. I don't think it's. I think what people want is actually the lifting of the lockdown. That's what they actually really want. Even I, who, I don't have much of a social life. I'll admit that, but even I've got sick and tired of this fucking lockdown. It's the novelty has worn off. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the general.
I mean, I admittedly, in a lot of ways, have not noticed much difference. Never leaving my home. But yeah, it's still like annoying because I do like to occasionally hang out with friends.
All right, carry on.
But many people in Hartlepool tell a different story. So stop someone in the streets and they will tell you, they might well tell you that they don't follow politics, but that they do think something needs to change. No one seems surprised that the Tories might win, and everyone in Hartlepool has been run down and abandoned. Michael is one of them. It could be easy that the Tories will win, he told Socialist Worker. Things are changing around here in the Northeast. It used to be Labour for years, but I don't think Labour has got a solid plan anymore. They need to do something with the town itself, he explained. There's a lot of empty shops and empty houses all over the place. I don't think anybody in the town itself, anybody has the town itself at heart. Darren, a student who grew up at Hartlepool, feels the same. I probably wouldn't be surprised if the Tories got in, but I'm not really a fan of them, he said. Nobody does much for the town. They need to invest in the town center, so it's not just charity shops and Greg's. Greg's?
Greg's is it's a chain of bakery.
Okay.
They sort of sell things like Cornish pasties and pizza slices and donuts.
Yeah.
Actually, I quite like their caramel donuts, to admit.
But I mean, like, essentially it'd be like just saying charity shops and McDonald's or something.
They also sell tomato soup, but I am sure that their tomato soup comes out of a Heinz can. Just say that. Go
on. Jane, a Labour Party member in Hartlepool, suggests that feeling is widespread. My partner, who has lived here his life, says he struggles to see what the Labour councils have achieved, she said. That there's been ongoing deterioration in the town and the services over the last decade, at least. He says that he has seen investment in local cities such as Sunderland and Newcastle, but nothing in towns such as Teesside?
Yeah.
I have a friend who has lived in the town the past decade, she added. She said she has also seen the sad decline of the town. Jane said that she thought local Labour politicians had struggled to find money to improve Hartlepool, deeper rooted, long-running problems of poverty and unemployment underlie the town's decay.
The Northeast is quite a deprived area. And I mean, there has been investment, as they say, in Newcastle and Sunderland, but Sunderland particularly is still a relatively deprived area. I mean, Sunderland's always fertile ground electorally for the far right, unfortunately. The real reason why Labour are going to lose by-election is because Keir Starmer has no fucking appeal. He has not made any fucking effort to basically, appeal to voters.
Well, he's made barely any effort. Full stop.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, the unemployment rate in Hartlepool is one of the highest in the country. Has always been the case. Sorry,
Yeah.
I just wanted to finish that paragraph.
Yeah. So now the question is, if Labour lose Hartlepool, along with really bad local election results, and of course, I mean they're going to lose control of the Welsh Assembly. They are not going to do well in Scotland. I think Sadiq Khan will probably hang on as mayor in London, but you know, essentially it's going to be a really bad election night for Labour. Okay, the question is, will Starmer hang on to his job? Well, let us just say that even people on the right of the party seem to be sharpening their knives.
Well, here's the thing. If he gets rid of enough of the Labour Party, you know, he's bound to be able to hang on.
So, got this from Squawk Box, left wing blog. Exclusive Rayner and the right wing hopefuls on manoeuvres as Starmer and Labour's polling dives. Yeah, Angela Rayner. Now, let me tell you, I used to have time. I used to have time for Angela Rayner. Right, she's got quite an inspiring story. She basically, you know, was a teenage single mum of an autistic child. Right, probably given no fucking hope, you know, hope of succeeding in life whatsoever, fucking ever, and now she's the deputy leader of the Labour Party. Right, so you know, all round.
Yeah, just so long as she doesn't go full autism speaks and just be like, talk about all the hardship of having to deal with an autistic child and
well,
and,
no,
yeah,
none of that. No.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying,
I assumed. I just
and it was Jeremy Corbyn who gave her a promotion to the shadow cabinet. You know, and it was really good to hear, you know, someone like Angela Rayner. I mean, she's got a real working class voice. You know, and you know, all you know, definitely applaud her. But since she's become deputy leader of the Labour Party, she was obviously elected at the same to the deputy Labour Party position at the same time Keir Starmer was elected leader. She has gone about stabbing just, you know, Jeremy Corbyn in the back. And you know, just seems to be utterly ruthless now. And it's like, you know, if she thinks that Starmer is a wounded beast she needs to get rid of, she'll throw him under the bus. She will. You know, so it doesn't surprise me that she's planning on making manoeuvres. Now, the other two people in the picture here is Yvette Cooper. Yvette Cooper actually ran against Jeremy Corbyn for the Labour leadership back in 2015. Didn't succeed. And here's one of the problems with Yvette Cooper, right? She's certainly on the right of the party, but I remember distinctly there was a LBC stage which is a talk radio channel here. They hosted a hustings phone in, right? And he had various people phone in to LBC to ask the leadership candidates questions. And basically, you'd have fucking Yvette Cooper going, "Oh well, you know, we'd have to think about that, possibly, yeah." No. Every time that anyone asked a straight question from Jeremy Corbyn, he said, "Yeah, I'll do that." You know, straight fucking answers you got from Corbyn. Whereas with Yvette Cooper, it was like, yeah. And I just thought, yeah, it was about that point I kind of thought, yeah, this is why Corbyn appeals to people. You know, you ask him a straight question, you get a straight answer. You don't get that from fucking Yvette Cooper. The other person is Rachel Reeves, who is a nasty piece of work. Rachel Reeves was the shadow DWP secretary under Ed Miliband when Ed Miliband was leader, and said at a time when disabled people were basically suffering the worst of fucking Tory austerity, that
Yeah.
Labour, if in government, would be harder on disabled people than the Tories were. Now, she claims she's been misquoted. In fact, she's actually said that to me personally. She said, "Oh, we got misquoted." Well, that's funny because I heard what you said on the fucking Sunday fucking politics show, which was then Rachel. So don't say that. Anyway, so there's this story that Cooper and Reeves are among right-wing MPs said by insiders to be angling for top jobs as well as current deputy leader, but they are in a spanner of the works of any.
But there could be a spanner in the works for any of them. As Labour's and party leader Keir Starmer's polling and prospects continue to plummet, with pollsters now predicting a Tory win even in Hartlepool, and even Tony Blair reportedly tiring of him, a number of MPs are already on maneuvers to replace him, according to Labour insiders. Figures close to the leadership say that Angela Rayner and Yvette Cooper are already preparing for a challenge, with Rachel Reeves also in the frame, and a further Sadiq Khan-backed MP said to be playing a longer game. Angela Rayner. Figures close to Rayner, who was the subject of speculation in the Murdoch press release last week, the press last weekend, over her disillusionment with
Starmer.
Have been heavily briefing the media in an attempt to create buzz about her leadership prospects. An MP close to her said she's definitely on maneuvers. The Times report also confirmed what Squawk Box reported weeks ago about her team's interference in the Liverpool mayoral selection as part of an attempt to build up a power base in the Northwest supportive of her leadership ambitions. Meanwhile, Starmer's allies are incandescent about how Rayner's team has handled the process of selecting Labour candidates for Liverpool mayor. A Labour official said, "There is absolute fury at how Angela's team botched the selection."
Yeah, basically, the Labour Central Office overturned the decision of the local party on who should be candidate, so they imposed a candidate on them. Which isn't how it should work. Anyways.
Yeah, gotcha. So went full anti-democratic. Yvette Cooper. Cooper, meanwhile, has been touted for promotion in the media and managed to trend on social media last week. But even more significantly, her own social media activity and briefings by her allies to the media have party insiders convinced that she is eyeing another bid for the party's top job. One senior source told Squawk Box, Yvette had a rush of mentions in the friendly media but her own social media activity has been off the scale for an MP whose main activity is as chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee. Even during recess, she's been busy. Cooper has also continued to receive significant donations from former Tory donor Peter Hearn and his company MPM Connect Limited. Yay. Always good when Labour people are funded by Tories. Rachel Reeves. Rachel Reeves is another MP that insiders are mentioning in connection with the bid, but many feel that she doesn't have enough personality to mount a serious challenge. However, Keir Starmer has no personality and somehow managed to make it all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not what I said. However, Keir Starmer's decision to throw her under the bus over the Easter weekend to cover for his widely criticized appearance at a homophobic church will have angered the right-wing MP who has had her eye on the shadow councillor's job. Reeves is unlikely to have enough support to win and is considered by many to be more of a stalking horse, but her allies point to the large number of left members who have quit the party since Starmer became leader, and to the fact that the right-dominated National Executive Committee could set a freeze state that would prevent rejoiners from voting in a leadership election.
So yeah, read the Lisa Nandy one. Nandy.
Oh, okay.
Lisa Nandy.
So you don't think Rosina Ulin Collin
No.
has a chance?
No.
Okay. Lisa Nandy. Nandy has also been mentioned in the media over the weekend as a figure that Starmer's team fears, but her recent low profile on social media stands in stark contrast with Cooper's high activity, and insiders feel she has decided now is not the time for her own bid.
Well, that's okay. The one thing I'll say about Angela Rayner is she's a trans ally. Now, the other thing is Lisa Nandy is also a trans ally. But the one thing that I'll say about Lisa Nandy, yes, she's on the right of the party, but I kind of respect her because she's more of a sort of pragmatist than anything. She does. I mean, you can tell that she. You know, people say she's on the right of the party, but she, you know, for instance, she's a Republican, and she said so. You know, publicly. You know, she. You know, so to say someone, I kind of Lisa. If of all the right wing sort of people, Lisa Nandy is the one I would favour, and also the fact that she's actually quite good at, shall we say, the job of debating. There's a video of her taking on a turf, and I know it was Julia Long who's really vile, and Julia Long thought she could get the basically ambush Lisa. Lisa saw her fucking coming. You know, let's just say that. So I've got time for Lisa Nandy. One person that's not mentioned, and I'm surprised he isn't thinking about possibly, challenging Starmer. I mean, obviously he has to get 10% of the parliamentary party to endorse him, and that would be Richard Bergen, the former Shadow Justice Secretary. And the reason why I say him, he's on the left and he's capable, right? And I know that he's not happy with what's going on. So,
well, this is largely mentioning the right-wing hopefuls of the Labour Party, so that might be why he wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I'm just saying that he's somebody I would like to see challenge Starmer, because I kind of feel that I don't think Bergen would win, but I think during the course of any leadership contest, certain issues would come out which need to be discussed. Okay. Anyways, on to the rest of the news. So, I got this article last week.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, Antifa. A lot of people do, Antifa never gets any good press, right?
Yeah.
But Antifa do some important work, and here's one example, right? They infiltrated basically there were supposedly meant to be White Lives Matter rallies in the United States over the weekend. I hate to spoil things for people, but they were a complete and utter fucking flop, right? But the point is that Antifa, this is down largely to Antifa basically infiltrating their ranks. This is the kind of stuff anti-fascist organisations do, right?
Well, I mean, Antifa isn't really an organisation, but yeah.
Well, no, that's why I said anti-fascist groups.
Oh, yeah, anti-fascist groups, because, all anti-fascist groups.
For instance, in this country, Hope Not Hate, they've had, they've implanted people into far-right groups to collect intelligence. I think the ADL might also do that. Don't hold me to that. Essentially, this is the good work Antifa have done. Okay, anti-fascist groups. I should always make the difference. People do get confused about this. Okay, Antifa is an ideology. Basically, it's anti-fascist. Okay, and I would always
the fascist scum.
I would always suggest people go and see Philosophy Tube's video on Antifa, because that's just probably the most informative and balanced videos there is on Antifa as an ideology. Okay, anti-fascist groups are anti-racist groups, anti-Nazi groups. Basically, they're the people who campaign against, the far right. Okay, and as I say, things like the Hope Not Hate, the Unite Against Fascism, which was formerly the Anti-Nazi League. As I say, in America, you have things like the Southern Law Poverty Center. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, they've due to Antifa infiltrating the white, the far right wanting to put on these White Lives Matter movement, it'll just basically, well, it flopped. And it just seems that not enough white people seem to think that they're being persecuted. Funny that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was complete. Because I did see some things on Twitter on Saturday about like the FBI was warning about violence and whatever else, but turned out that no, none of it.
Yeah.
So I know I know you've covered this.
I know.
Yes. She's covered it on her Rainbow Shelter News.
Yep.
Every Wednesday at 9. Okay. 9 p.m. here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's in a
You want me to read off?
Yeah, go on.
In a sad attempt at conservative humor, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee has managed to be racist, transphobic, and anti-democratic with a single tweet. Huckabee, what?
Whoa, well done, Mike. Yeah,
Yeah, no. It's
well
like
done.
winning a competition. I can't time my claps.
Yeah.
Huckabee, 65, father of former White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders, came under fire for saying he would start identifying as Chinese to get freebies from American corporations.
Oh, that's racist.
I've decided to quote unquote identify as Chinese, he tweeted on Saturday, the 3rd of April. Coke will like me, Delta will agree with my quote unquote values, and I'll probably get shoes from Nike and tickets to Major League Baseball games. Ain't America great? So transphobic because
yes.
the identifying as Chinese, racist because of all that, and opposing the idea of companies agreeing to values which you disagree with. So opposing free speech and companies doing what they want to. Mike Huckabee's tweet appears to be criticizing companies that have come out against the bill known as SB 202, or the Election Integrity Act of 2021, which makes sweeping changes to almost every part of Georgia's voting and election system. Civil rights groups have denounced the law, calling it a form of modern-day voter suppression that disproportionately targets people of color.
And here's the offending tweet.
Yep. Right there.
And I like the response. Why aren't there more conservative comedians?
Oh, God.
Conservatives can't do comedy.
Yeah, no, I've heard conservative comedy before, and it's cringe. Conservative attempts at comedy.
Yeah, Mike Huckabee has a long history of attacking minorities, especially LGBT plus people. His latest remark is particularly insidious at a time when hate crimes against trans people and Asian Americans are on the rise.
The hate crimes in America against Asian American people have been skyrocketing. It's horrible.
2020 was America's deadliest year on record for transphobic murders. Meanwhile, there were 122 instances of Asian American hate crimes in 16 of the country's most populous cities in 2020, an increase of 150%.
Yeah.
The New Georgia Project, a voting rights group based in Georgia, called Huckabee's tweet openly racist, while others described it as hateful, disgraceful, and antithetical to the gospel. Yes, it is.
Well, yeah.
All that peace and love.
Republicans don't believe in
isn't he?
Jesus.
He's a minister, isn't he? He's an ordained minister, isn't he? And hasn't he read all that hippie shit which Jesus said? He
read the quotes that are best to use to try to support capitalism and no other part of the Bible.
Actor and also the bits that which you can use to hate on LGBTQ people, because half the real issue here is a lot of men, right? They're very insecure about their sexuality and their identities, right? And thus, they feel they might be tempted, so that's the wrong fucking term. That there is the right term. They might be tempted to experiment and find that they aren't actually, as much, the white cis-normative, heteronormative arseholes that they often come out as, often appear to be.
Yeah.
Yes, actor and activist Patricia Arquette, who was in True Romance, joined the chorus of criticism. Elderly Asian women are getting beaten up on the street, and you say this, she asked. It's good that there was a he received a backlash, but he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, but go down a little bit.
Look. People say
I'm curious how many
people say
are on the original tweet.
People say that but me and Osman, a lot of lefties live in our own lefty echo chambers, which I'm not denying there isn't a degree of truth to that. However, I do actually have a trans friend who's a Tory. In fact, I have two trans friends who are Tories, believe it or not.
Are they one of the good Tories?
Well, they're at least socially liberal, right? Well, one of them is. The other one, somewhat, I would say, but But anyways, the
19.1k likes. That's the depressing part of that.
Yeah. But the thing is, right? Likes of Mike Huckabee, they live in their own fucking echo chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think fucking Parler was set up, right? Now, I know some episodes because a lot of people got banned from Twitter. Yeah, they got banned from Twitter, not realizing that that all that needed to happen was them to change their fucking behavior. They just refused to.
Well, that and Parler kicked out anyone left of center, and
and all Parler is a fucking Nazi fucking echo chamber. So, I mean, Parler also ban anyone who like Liam Wood, who basically goes on about Dominion and electoral fraud, because Parler is shit scared of getting sued by Dominion. Yet they claim they're the free the paragon of fucking free speech, don't they?
Yeah.
Anyways, talking, of course, Mike Huckabee, the former Arkansas governor. Well, the current Arkansas governor apologizes to trans youth after extreme healthcare ban forced through. Now, the Arkansas governor
is surprisingly endearing and shows that some people haven't lost all the elements of their humanity.
Some Republicans.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Republican. So Arkansas governor, go on, pronounce that name.
Oh, Arkansas Governor Asa. I don't know how his first name is pronounced actually for sure. Hutchinson has apologized to trans youth after the state legislature banned gender affirming healthcare for trans youth because he vetoed that bill. So House Bill 1570 was passed into law on Tuesday, April 6th, meaning healthcare professionals in the state will be legally prohibited from offering healthcare such as puberty blockers and hormone treatment to trans youth.
Oh yeah, and basically parents of trans kids will just travel across the border. You know, I don't know. I've got which states border. Well, Texas, I think, borders. No, Oklahoma.
No, I think. Fuck. Now I need to think about the map. Oh, Mississippi's not a good choice.
No, because
I don't know how I managed to forget the thing. Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Missouri are the
Tennessee have already brought in a trans athlete ban.
Yeah, so honestly,
Missouri are thinking about it.
Louisiana might be the best choice there, and still not like a great choice. But
yeah, we'll try.
Shreveport, Louisiana might be the best way to do that. The bill originally passed through the House of Representatives and Senate in March before making its way to the governor's desk. But Hutchinson vetoed the bill on Monday, the 5th of April, calling it vast government overreach. The legislature opted to override Hutchinson's veto just 24 hours later. Speaking to NPR following the legislature decision, Hutchinson offered an apology to those impacted by the dehumanizing law. When asked by host Ari Shapiro what he would say to a transgender minor whose treatment will now cease, Hutchinson replied, "Well, I'm sorry." Hutchinson said situations like the one mentioned by Shapiro are exactly the reason he vetoed the bill in the first place, as it would not be right for the state to interrupt a treatment that the parents had agreed to along with the patient and physician. The governor reaffirmed his previously stated position that he would have signed the bill into law if it had banned gender-affirming surgeries for minors in Arkansas. However, he noted that such practices are currently not offered to young people.
Well, that's true. They're not.
Yeah, he actually is aware of the real world. Arkansas governor wasn't surprised it was vetoed. Elsewhere in the interview, Hutchinson said it was disappointing that the Arkansas House of Representatives and Senate opted to override his veto, but he said it was no surprise because it had already passed through both houses with overwhelming support. It was too broad and did not grandfather in those young people who are currently under hormone treatment, Hutchinson said, adding that the bill would put trans people in a difficult position. The governor also urged Republicans to rethink our engagement with the so-called culture wars, saying the party has traditionally advocated for a restrained model of government that doesn't jump into the middle of every issue.
This guy sounds more of a conservative libertarian.
Well,
yeah, he sounds more of a conservative libertarian to me.
Well, I mean, you might be closer to that view, but the Republican Party has always co-opted aspects of libertarian arguments, especially with relation to the power and the overreach of government.
Well, anyways, the American Civil the thing here, this is the important thing. The American Civil Liberties Union plans to bring forward a legal challenge in an effort to have the bill struck down, while other LGBT plus organisations hit out at lawmakers for targeting trans youth. Yeah, I do see this being challenged in the courts. I
Yeah, no, there's a legitimate argument for shutting this down in the courts.
Now, this governor, he's a conservative, so he's still a twat. But
but he has a heart, a small heart somewhere deep down.
He sounds more moderate
and hidden away.
Yeah, but he sounds a bit more moderate than you know what Republicans have become, and so unfortunate. And so he did. He seems to have wanted to do the right thing here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he said that if so. Anyways. But he's now in the firing line of you got it.
Oh,
Donny, Donny, While he's busy having drinking his Coca-Cola and expecting everyone else to boycott Coca-Cola, he ain't happy that this governor was being nice to trans people.
Yeah, DJT is furious about this.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump has attacked healthcare for trans children in an asinine rant against Arkansas Governor Hutchinson. Hutchinson is the Republican governor of Arkansas, which this week became the first U.S. state to ban doctors providing medical treatment to trans under 18s after legislators overruled Hutchinson's veto on the bill. Yeah, we know that. As a result, let's get to the juicy bits.
Trump is furious that Hutchinson stood up for trans youth. Trump's administration oversaw multiple attacks on trans rights, calling him rhino or Republican in name only, a derogatory term for conservative politicians in the U.S. This is actually the first time I've heard that term, but that's probably
I've heard it before.
Yeah, it's probably because I've listened to too many left-wing people and I forgot about it. Hutchinson, the lightweight rhino governor of Arkansas, just vetoed a bill that banned the chemical castration of children, Trump said in a statement to reporters. Of course, they always fucking say that.
Yeah, well, basically, this just proves that Trump has absolute hate for trans people. Absolute. It is absolute hate, right? And here's the thing: Caitlyn Jenner is weighing up whether to run as a Republican for the California governorship.
Yeah,
Caitlyn, the fucking Republican Party hate you. Now, okay, you do have, moderates like.
Well, there's Hutchinson. He's like one person. Arnie probably wouldn't be like too upset. Arnie's pretty moderate for Republicans, but these are like minor Republicans. A large swath of Republican people who make a lot of the Republican policies are not moderate Republicans. They are extremely conservative Republicans now.
Well, they're fucking fascists. That's what they are.
A large amount of them, yes, are, and a handful are just assholes. Like fuck, whatever. The few Republicans who voted, to impeach Trump are the few Republicans who are just regular assholes. And
if Trump thought there was votes in him saying, I want to send all trans people to fucking death camps, he would do it. Believe me.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops, that's a mistake. Okay, wait for that to load. Yes, Richard Dawkins. As every day passes by, the more Richard Dawkins disappoints me. Yeah,
and like I said, I think a lot of this happened after he had relatively severe.
No,
strokes.
He was being an asshole before that. He's just got worse and worse and worse now. And here's the thing, right? I was with the New Atheists back 15 years ago. But I've kind of realised new atheists, same old bigotry. You know, it's just, you know, you've got him and, you know, there was that incident with Sam Harris on Bill Maher's, oh God, what's the show he does on fucking HBO? The Time and the Place, is it? Well, I don't know, fucking.
I don't know.
Well, anyways, he basically, Ben Affleck was on the panel and Sam Harris was basically saying, you know, essentially all Muslims are fucking terrorists. And Ben Affleck went at him for that, you know, because that was a fucking generalisation.
Yeah.
So, we know Dawkins is a transphobe. Well, he's just proving it even more. Here we go. So, Richard Dawkins drew criticism Saturday for a provocative tweet that compared trans people to Rachel Dolezal. On Saturday morning, on an entire minute after tweeting about the late Prince Philip's top hat, the evolutionary biologist and outspoken atheist abruptly gave his take on trans lives that absolutely nobody asked for. Dawkins compared trans folk to Rachel Dolezal, the white woman,
Rachel Dolezal,
Dolezal, who appropriated a black identity while pursuing black activism and academia. In 2015, Dolezal, a white chapter president of the NAACP, that's the National
NAACP,
was verified for identifying as black. Dawkins wrote, "Some men choose to identify as women, and some women choose to identify as men. You will be verified if you deny. Sorry, you will be vilified if you deny that they are literally if they literally are what they. If you deny that they literally are what they identify as," he said, before asking his 3 million followers to discuss his thoughts. Dolezal once likened herself to a trans people.
Yeah, I remember that.
At the time, her words were rebutted by psychologist and author, someone I can't pronounce, who told BBC Newsnight comparing being trans with trans radicalism is a fallacy. It's a false equivalency, which in my mind doesn't advance our understanding of race or of transgender issues, neither of black womanhood. She's a white woman who's quite oblivious to the fact that black women's experiences and bodies have been appropriated. Similarly, Dawkins' comment quickly became a lightning rod for criticism, with trans folk and allies responding with frustration and exhaustion. Katie Montgomery, somebody I have tried to approach about possibly coming on this channel, she's so far ignored me. She does turf war thingy on her channel.
Yeah.
It's quite good actually. People should check it out. Why not read absolutely anything that's been written about this and understand it? Absolutely pathetic that you're going down the gender critical conspiracy theory hole after reading one stupid book. This is like a teenager level argument about trans people. Well, most of the fucking arguments about trans people seem to be at an adolescent fucking level. Small problem. Trans people don't really choose to transition. No, we fucking don't. Furthermore, your understanding of gender identity is either flawed or you are just arguing based on faith, because the majority of scientists and biologists disagree with you. They do. Richard Dawkins is. You see, the thing is, Dawkins is just an arsehole. He just is.
He's always been. Yes, I will agree that he's always been a little bit of an asshole, but he's become more and more of an asshole as time has gone on. Like, you could have a Richard Dawkins versus Richard Dawkins at this point. He made an argument for there being a war on Christmas, like more recently than Whereas years ago he made an argument against that as stupid. So it's I feel like I still feel like his stroke in 2016 has brought out more and more of the worst in him.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to look at the chat. Excuse me a minute. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go on.
I don't think that responding is. I don't think masculinity is very fragile.
Or I do think that masculinity is very fragile in that exploring gender and sexuality feels threatening to them, because if they're threatened, if they weren't cis or straight, they would have to literally reevaluate their whole life.
Yeah, exactly. That's, I think, the point I was making.
Yeah,
right.
It's very fragile if that's the case for you.
Okay, okie dokie, folks. All right, so now we're going to get into a video by ContraPoints, because on Friday I brought up a character which is in this video. I had a brain fart. I said it was a anti-file character. It's not. It's a tanky. And me and Ozma were starting to get into a rather more heated debate than we usually get between us.
Which, by the way, we still like each other and think we're good at doing good stuff, and and we think ContraPoints is. I think we both think that ContraPoints is doing, at the very least, some good, and that she's like an imperfect human being or whatnot. So in the general aspect of things, we disagree, but in the general aspect we agree, but there is always the possibility for heated disagreements of love.
Yes. So, anyways, I brought up the character which you'll see in this video, and we had a bit of a disagreement about some of the issues surrounding this. So let's get into it.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, a fascist. My fellow Americans, a war is about to be waged between everything you love and everything you hate. Our very right to exist as a people is under attack. Foreign invaders, disguised as immigrants and refugees, are being imported to our lands by a cabal of globalist elites. And if we don't stop it soon, the result will be rape, chaos, and the end of civilization as we know it. I want you to imagine the faces of your wives and children. Picture their pure, white, innocent faces. Now, watch as those same wives are violated, those same children dashed to pieces under the black boots of the third world horde. Does that thought fill you with rage? Good. We must be prepared to fight for our children, and for our nation, and for our history, and for our culture. To fight for the homeland we've always known, and the people we've always loved. Make America great again. Hail victory.
Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, a leftist. So, actually, according to Hegel, the for itself can only be actualized through the in itself.
Can I just point out, I actually know lefties like this. They'll come up.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you.
But I also know libertarians. I also know libertarians like this as well.
But I mean, the thing is,
They'll refer to some very long written treaties that people should read, to find out more about why they believe in whatever, and it's like people haven't got the fucking time,
Well, yeah, I mean that's why I'm always a fan of some of the
I actually don't tell
shorter works, such as James Connolly has written some short works with regards to socialism and Irish nationalism, which I always support because that's a quick read.
Well,
easy to find.
Well, I'd always say, I don't tell people to go and read Das Kapital because it is quite laborious. But, I have read it because it did interest me. But, you've got to be able to communicate with the general populace. You don't have time to understand very high concept, intellectual, ideas. They want nuts and bolts stuff, which they can understand. I'm not saying people are thick. I'm just saying that, that basically people have got lives, essentially.
Well, yeah.
So, anyways, onwards.
So the individuation of the subject necessarily demands the transcendence of the dialectical object through the sublimation of negative materiality. Oh, fuck you, you fucking racists. Death to capitalism. Hail Satan.
So, that speech didn't go too well, huh? Well, what do you expect? We have the politicians against us, a media run by giant corporations, and a complacent white middle class that prefers order to justice. Opposition to leftism is hardly surprising. So let's accept that all that's true. The game is rigged. Fine. Now, how do you respond to that situation? Do you change nothing about your strategy at all and then blame the system when the predictable happens? Or do you try to improve your rhetoric somehow? Look, I don't really need optics advice from a bougie queer aesthete who puts style over substance and thinks that shining a pink light on everything can cover up her counter-revolutionary Trotskyite tendencies. I mean, are you even a communist? No, I'm not a communist. Well, why not? I like stuff. I like this, and I like this, and I like this. That's why I can't be a communist. Justine, you do realize that Marxism distinguishes between private property and personal property, right? You're allowed to own possessions, you just can't exploit people by owning the means of production. Well, most of my stuff was made by Chinese slaves. Well, you should feel bad about that. Look, I'm just trying to help you out here. Queer eye for the Marxist-Leninist, Actually, I'm an anarcho-syndicalist. Right. Do you have any friends who aren't leftist militants? That's what I thought. Tabby, people think you're weird, and they're afraid of you. Well, fascists are afraid of me. Really? Well, let's take a look at your Twitter feed. Let's see. We've got guillotines, Soviet memes, liberals get the bullet too. Bitch, no wonder why everyone thinks you're some kind of scary terrorist. Okay, Jesus, let's hear your mind-blowing revelations about respectability politics. Great. Let's start by taking a look at these patches and pins. Positives first. The rose is great. Love the rose. Fantastic. Now, the hammer and sickle. We're gonna need to get rid of that. I'm just wearing it ironically. No, don't you start with that. It makes me think of bread lines and gulags, and it needs to go. Well, maybe you're right. Fine, I'll get rid of it. See, I can think about optics. What's that in your bag? Oh, this? Yeah. We're gonna need to do something about that too. Now hold on, getting rid of the hammer and sickle is one thing, but Marx is a foundational thinker in the history of progressive I'm not talking about getting rid of Marx, I'm talking about giving him a makeover. I mean, just look at the cover of that thing. It's making me depressed just looking at it.
Yeah, you see what basically she's doing here is basically, as I say, I do know tankies like this, right?
I know people like this who aren't even if they're not necessarily tankies, because tankies is like specifically. I mean, this way, I don't like terms like fascism and tanky to get watered down, because tankies generally need to be fighting for an authoritarian government. As tankies are generally fighting for an authoritarian government.
Well, what I'm saying,
it's not simply just being excessively extreme in some of their rhetoric. It's
But you see, the discussion is Contra's character Tabby. Is it her? Is it her saying that this is how the far right see everybody on the left, or is it how she sees people on the left? Well, I think it's a bit of both. And as I say, my experience is I have met people on the radical left who are a bit like this. Okay. Right.
Yeah, this in front thing. I'm less aware of this video. I thought you're talking about fucking her more ContraPoints' more recent stuff have gotten the most of the stuff I've seen from ContraPoints has been her long and boring stuff.
This came up in because Lily Orchard brought it up. And so this is why.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was bringing up this video. That's probably
well. She was bringing up several. She was bringing up several of ContraPoints videos, right? And and I remember saying that. I remember saying that there was this character Tabby. I couldn't remember the name of the character at the time, which was.
I thought you were talking about a different character.
Anti-capitalist, character. But I actually think that Natalie got it fairly bang on. Now, I don't know how left-wing Natalie is herself. I would imagine she's probably typically a moderate liberal, which you would have in the United States. I don't know. I can't even know if she backed Bernie or not. But the point I'm trying to make is. It is an insightful video on how some people are on the left and how that actually doesn't help the left, right? By being that fucking militant. It doesn't, obviously. Now, I know some people say I'm a bit of a hypocrite because, hey, aren't I shitting on Starmer all the time? Because he's not Jeremy Corbyn. Look, I have been very specific in my criticisms of Starmer. Like, has he got any fucking policies? No. Has he been working to appeal to people? No. Right. I can point out the stuff which was wrong with Starmer. That's the thing. I'm not just and as I've said, I'd be quite happy if he was replaced by another right winger who was at least offering a more of an opposition to the Tories. Sure, I wouldn't agree with them, and I'll carry on being a Green Party member, but at least we would have more of a functioning fucking opposition. I mean, when it comes to Joe Biden, I don't agree with the fact that he bombed Syria, but I certainly thumbs up when it comes to the advancement of LGBTQ rights. I know.
Yeah, and obviously the ICE camps are.
But I'm not going to be one of those. I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm not going to be one of those people on who's on the radical left who won't be happy with anybody unless they are as radically left as they are. I that's what I want. But I'm prepared to compromise. Okay. I guess what I'm trying to say.
I think it would be a lot easier. Oh, can I finish?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I think it would be a lot easier if politicians were a lot. There was a clear, because when Democrats are conservatives and conservatives are both bombing Syria and helping usher people into into concentration camps in America, I think it would be a lot easier if if at least some of the politicians were more fervently against that, or more of the politicians were fervently against that, and ideally one that was able to make it to be president. If there was a president who was fervently against bombing random nations and putting people in concentration camps, I think that would help move people away from the sort of thinking that leads to that. I mean, it's one of those things where a lot of things can all work together, and I obviously I care about what will get the most change done, not how each individual acts.
Right. Okay. Well, as I said, people go and check this out for themselves. I'm not going to play the whole video because it's not fair on Natalie. Go and check it out for yourselves. The Left by ContraPoints. Worth watching. I did find it enjoyable. All right, folks. Well, that brings to an end another edition of Botha Rants. All right, Ozma, do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me at osmanthedark.com. You can find me on The Fluid Voice on Sundays and Wednesdays. Wednesdays is Rainbow Shelter News, where we talk about we do a quick summary of the news, unlike Sophia's much more in-depth breakdown of things. Just to give you a taste of things that you could potentially look up was the general thinking behind Rainbow Shelter News. And also, this Sunday we are talking with someone who's a bit closer to that further left stereotype that you showed, and I had some disagreement. But the thing is, there's always core elements that people agree on, even if the optics are not good.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you like this video, give it a like. If you have any feedback, drop us a comment below. If you like what we say in this video, then give it a share. Please do share it on social media. It does help us. And most important of all, please subscribe. Just that's the most important thing you can do.
Yeah, subscribe to her.
Now, I won't be back tomorrow because I'm due to be on Kevin Logan's stream at 7 o'clock.
Ooh.
Well, as I said, I was due to be on last Thursday, but neither one of us was up to it at the time.
Okay.
Hopefully we're going to be talking about how the Tories' erosion of the right to protest is going to affect disabled people. That's the main topic. So you can catch me there, and please do go and subscribe to his channel because he's awesome. And
yeah.
Anyways, in the meantime, until the next time I stream, which will probably be Wednesday, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and peace out.
Bye.